Welcome to your progressed natal chart report. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you gain the utmost of quality from this report. I do have your progress chart in front of me, and we will be looking into the nature of your progression. Something that I was thoroughly impressed to see when I did read your chart. We see you were born on the new moon. This is your natal chart here in black, and then the progressed is going to be the outer green ring and circle. I was born in 1990, so we do have something in common, having this triple conjunction, albeit in 90, it's further at the end. This axis here is highly important, especially taking into account the North Node as of present is returning for those born in 87 and 1988 primarily, coming into post-September back into March of next year. It's going to cover the ground for 1988 before it goes into Aquarius for 89. So yeah, I'm very excited to break this down for you, especially seeing you are a fellow angel, a fellow natural queen angel. We both have second house Gemini suns as natural royalty, so we actively manifest our true value. That's what the second house Gemini portal means. We have word magic. Countless times I have spoken my intentions. I've written them down on paper. I have voiced them, and like magic, they have happened. Hence, given that Gemini, Taurus, and Aries are the basic initial trio, this is an application of basic magic compared to the other advanced iterations with Virgo, Sag, and Pisces. Sag and Pisces being high magic, Virgo being, of course, the lower magic with Gemini. And Gemini really now counts for the frame by frame basic building block of magic through our ideations, through our ideas, through our words, through our attitude. And so, unlike myself, you actually have the King of the Gods on your rising as an instrumental quality, which is such a huge deal. I almost fell out my seat reading this. On top of that being born on a new moon opposite Neptune Uranus, you are an extremely capable angelic being, and you were born with Chiron. So you have angelic healing communication opposite Uranus and Saturn. This is a fancy way of saying that your words, even though as an angelic healer, your words heal people, and your very vibration and frequency is going to represent communication through the frequency of the logic and the literacy of your communication or your vocabulary. It heals people. People can have conversations with you and it will heal them. Okay. Now, that's a fancy way of saying that you piss the bejesus off of people, because the truth will piss people off before it sets them free. So you're going to irreparably trigger people because the truth of what you say will cut at wounds that maybe they don't want to accept. And unless that person has integrity, they're probably going to hate you for it. And that's the basis of the Saturn-Uranus opposition, where a lot of the Chiron healing is you not only healing your value and your self-esteem. Chiron in a second is here to heal this idea in Gemini that you're not good enough, that you're not valuable enough. Only, of course, for you to realize that you are more than valuable enough. You're the natural queen that is an instrument of the King of the Gods, or in this sense, this just maximum royalty here. In fact, I want to actually see where you have Juno, because you were born in 88. So that would be definitely interesting to see. This is the Queen Goddess here. And it looks like you have her in Gemini. See, oh my goodness. Do you see why I had to look this up? So you actually are the Queen Goddess Juno as well. The reason why this is important is Juno is, traditionally, Jupiter's wife. And when I see it in a chart with woman, It is key. You have the goddess of beauty and Juno here too. So you were born on a new moon conjunction after the establishment of this. Your rising has now embodied this. So you represent that queen goddess archetype, and rulership. Every woman who I've ever read with this, it shows, you know what I mean? The sun, the moon, the rising. It's predictable too. They usually marry men who have Jupiter here, partners who have Jupiter on their sun or moon or rising, just to kind of reflect that. It's very fascinating actually to see. But yeah, I knew I had to look that up. So yeah, Gemini women I've seen with this carry that ranking as well. Any woman really, but I've seen it with Gemini women specifically. And it's something to be said that you have such a stellium here, in Gemini. Now, once again, in our second house, this is our ability to manifest with the word. I've written stuff down, I've spoken them, and they've happened. You have Saturn and Uranus opposite here, which is going to hold in integrity the authority of your vision and the unconventional nature with which, at a totality, you can see the meaning of everything. And use that as a massive bargaining chip for leverage. Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn here in the 8th are going to really influence the or let me just say the mastered enlightenment, the mastery of enlightened nature of your own true value and word magic. This is going to influence how you use this magic to deal with others, to invest your ideas into others' visions. And Neptune, of course, is going to be that grounded, intuitive portal through which your own body can discern character from other people's movements in their body. But I can't emphasize enough alone the significance of this opposition. Saturn really constructs the visual nature of taking the word that Gemini is and now showing other people the meaning of that word. This is literally show and tell. That's something I don't have. Born in 1990. I have nothing in Sagittarius. By the time we're in 1990, this moves into Capricorn. But this is like a powerful axis of magic, especially taking into account Gemini, Sag, Pisces. You primarily have, mutable nature. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that out the way before we really talk about the progress chart, because, you are literally the queen of word magic. Born on a new moon means that you're an omen. The fact that I'm even giving you this reading, when people come across you, it's time for them to move forward with a new way of thinking, a new idea. You manifest that with them. And once again, I can't really speak enough of the emphasis of this mastery of karmic authority here, which now really take into account a sharper nature of this sword, your sword of truth. All right. Other than that, now as we look into your progress chart, which once again I have in green, just to show you how the progress is overlapped over your natal, your rising is now in Gemini. Your sun is 29 degrees Gemini. So you've gone through a full 30 plus year chapter. And we're going to look at the progress moon, because the progress moon lets us know what stage you're in. In about 4 months from now, you're going to progress into Scorpio, which I will show you. And in 3 months from now, you're going to actively step into this first quarter square before the sun goes into Leo. Next year, the sun's going to go into Leo. And of course, you're going to begin your Leo progression, which I can only imagine is going to be so awesome. That being said, 29 years ago was when you started your Cancer progression, which we know was when you turned 7. Around like 6, 7 is when your sun progressed in Cancer. Every year, the progressed sun's going to move a day. And then every month, the progressed moon is going to move a degree. Because every day, the sun moves a degree, and every 2.5 days, the moon moves a sign. So every 2.5 years, the progressed moon's going to move into the sign. So that's a really good way of calculating the stage you're at. Of course, now the significance of these progressions are as follows. Something to keep in mind, because your Jupiter is also now 29 degrees, where Uranus has just left. And I will tell you, Uranus going into Gemini is literally the best thing that could ever happen to us. because it's going to really now express all of this preloaded innovation through Taurus that, especially for us, happened through our risings, where now we're expressing genius that reflects a lot of what we've loaded onto here. Something that's also cool, given that you do have that 29-degree aspect between Uranus right now that will eventually be the opposition by 2033. And that's another cool thing. Us having Saturn here by 2033, Saturn and Uranus will meet at the end of Gemini to go into Cancer together. And that's when we're going to have a very rare conjunction opposition for Saturn and Uranus with their irregular orbits to meet. Conjunct here and opposite here, we're getting set up for a lot. So the next 7 years will definitely be very interesting. But the significance of these progressions, Taurus in the Gemini takes the natural physiology of your body. And then, like Plato's cave, you come out and learn enlightenment. So you've mastered the natural quality of your personality, of your body, and now you are developing the enlightenment of your brain, which is a product of your physiology. And then, of course, the Gemini, progression into Cancer is taking the enlightenment of mind and brain function and now developing the psyche, the power of the psyche, psychic power, your emotions, because what you think directly manifests what you feel. And now that through the Gemini progression, we have developed the mastery of our perspective in the form of enlightenment, Cancer now takes this change of our mindset and then directs it in the direction we've changed it towards. Okay. So with that being said, this really represents now the extension of your initial manifestation of truth now being this manifestation of liquidity. And that's why I was saying in that reading, now that Jupiter's in Cancer, we're getting ready to make so much money. It's going to pale into comparison relative to the last 12-year cycle where Jupiter was last in Cancer 2013, as we hadn't received our Saturn returns yet. Versus now, not only have we come of age, you're coming into a nodal return, and it's going to be increasingly harder to stop you. Remember, you are the queen, goddess, princess. Like, you're literally the true angelic natural queen. You, especially being born on a new moon with all these god constructs and goddess constructs here. Like, you're not really human, despite the human form you may take. So yeah, that's interesting to say, but like a direct application that's practically expressed is a whole nother thing. And that's everything that now this new cycle is going to actually show you. All right. So now the enlightenment of Gemini becomes holy power in Cancer. Jupiter has made it 29 degrees. It's going to go into Gemini with Uranus, which is mind blowing. And your Mars, which was in Pisces, connected with the North Node, aligning this abstract, imaginative act relative to, of course, now the metaphysical influence of how your desire is inhibited or, initiated, aligned with the belief of what you're meant to accomplish. The blessing of the MC with your North Node. I have this, but in Aquarius, we're destined for success. All right, especially with that 11th house placement, you're destined to take action with your dream team. It means that the imaginative desires that connect with your destiny will always have you take action aligned with the right place. All right, and clashing with timing. So, of course, what you believe will clash and challenge what you think you value, so that this alignment will, of course, allow you to maintain quality of this true value while still taking action that brings your dreams out. And so now that this is progressed into Aries, the belief that constituted the perception of success has now progressed into the individual actions you take to define that success and to actually accomplish it. And Mars is now, of course, a lot more raw in Aries, a lot more, of course, direct. And it's something that the transiting Saturn coming into next year will develop and construct so much more, as a lot of the perception around this is actualized. That being said, okay, the progression into Cancer is pretty much finished, as in about a year, it's going to go into Leo, which is literally showtime. Now, I can't help but think the magnanimity of, that's the wrong word, but I can't help but think the amazing quality of timing that you would be progressing into Leo right around the time Leo is about to debut like never before. They've tried to retcon Leo over the past few years. And I get that a large part of that is because they're rebooting the Leo franchise. What I mean by that is, of course, next year, Jupiter is going to be in Leo. And coming into that next 6 months ahead, into 2027, we're going to have the South Node and Jupiter in Leo. And I don't think that that's a coincidence that you will have been progressed into Leo during that period, at least 1 degree. So I think that's pretty awesome that you're going to be able to take a part of that. And that being said, I think it's a good omen that your progression into Leo coincides with the establishment of this New World Order series. All right. So very exciting nonetheless. And I want to give you relevant dates around facets of your progression. Since you were born right on the new moon, you started your life cycle off activating this new truth. That is the embodiment of what you possess and are. You are this new mindset. All right. So by the time you were 7, you probably had the first quarter square coming in at the end of Virgo into Libra, because that's when the sun went into Cancer. Then you had the full moon in Capricorn. That full moon in Capricorn I had in 2017. And that full moon aspect is what enables one to come into the peak of success over that 7-year transit. So from 2017 to 2024 was when I gained success doing what I do, as far as not needing another job and doing this full time. Of course, now that the cycle's completed, I'm having the transition. The success I had then does not seemingly look like it was like it is now. But that's because we're complete with that. So it's time to segue. And that's something you've gone through, of course. I would say perhaps maybe around 21, give or take, because it takes about 14 years from your birth to go from new moon to full moon. And then another, 7, 14, 21. So I want to say by 28 was when you kind of completed it. But that being said, that's what led to the new moon in Cancer. And if we go back 7 years, when I was having my full moon, you were having your new moon. Okay. Yeah. So if we go back to 2017, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't 2018. If we go back to 2017, as we can see, that's when you had the new moon around 20 degrees Cancer. So 2017 was realistically your last activation. That means you were born activating this new enlightenment, had to adjust the nature of this perspective as you now directed it starting at 7, and in adjusting the potency of this, boom, you activated in 2017 this new cycle of holiness, this new cycle of sincerity, and this new cycle of integrative understanding of character, right? The power of your psyche, in order to push forward in that direction. All right. So this is like, of course, getting the sails in the right direction, pushing the boat in that direction, adjusting that boat, and then boom, finally moving in that direction. Of course, since you have the new moon at the end of the sign, it's going to build potency before it finally launches. All right. Very powerful stuff, by the way. The significance, once again, of the magic of Gemini progressing in the cardinal signs. This is where we now develop potency of our magical perspective. Virgo does it with Libra socially. Sagittarius does it with Capricorn universally. And then Pisces resets the wheel by taking their collective nature as an entity and manifesting their individuality. But they're ghosts and they don't really count. They don't even really exist. But we, to a degree, literally do. And we're the messengers. So now that you have, of course, cleaned yourself up through Cancer, it's now time, of course, to step into royalty in Leo. You're about to become a main character. As of now, as a Gemini rising, you're developing this main character energy. You have gone from the natural queen to the air princess or angel. And I think it's beautiful how you embody your Venus now, becoming the true beauty that you were born possessing, and also certain natal aspects of your angelic nature. Okay. Once again, Jupiter in Cancer is going to increase this liquidity. One of our attitude, but now that you've progressed into Gemini, it's going to expand the value of this like emotionally intelligent mindset. And this is where now, as you can see, we activated this new moon, 2017, and we are now getting ready for the next stage, the first 90 degrees of any cycle, but in this case, the progressed lunar new moon is activation. We've activated the new direction. We strengthened its courage and quality socially in Leo. We've then activated how it is you analyze what you've activated relative to this new potency. And now you are integrating the social understanding and the balanced logical understanding of these emotions and feelings to prepare for you to fully express this forward. Now, normally we would have the trine in Scorpio, but this is going to go into Leo, and that's what I want to show you. So, of course, in 4 months from now, let's just say November. All right, let's do it. August, September, October. Yeah, let's just say November. In 4 months from now, we are going to have, of course, the moon going, oh, okay, so we could have said August. I want to show you this 29 degree because it's going to show you, of course, this square right here. So this square right here is where the seeds you planted in 2017 will break through the ground. And not only do you have at a mastered level, which speaks a lot about you, a full understanding of course, how you take the value of this psychic awareness and actively now altruistically, socially balance this and understand what spaces you're able to build off of this. But this is going to also prepare for you to segue into Leo. Of course, now, another cool thing about progressions is you can tell a whole lot about the nature of the lesson just due to the progressed moon and the feel of it. So for the next 2.5 years, because every month it's going to move the moon a degree, you're going to go into a much deeper psychoanalytical and psychological exploration of what you have consciously progressed up to. It's going to bring deeper themes, and because we are a part of the Pluto Scorpio generation, it is a reawakening of this progressed soul space, which is going to provide even deeper understanding of yourself and how you continue to integrate this individuality socially. Now, what's significant about Cancer progressing into Leo, the first 4 signs are individual. You and I both have individual personalities and individual spirits. The only difference is my moon is in Capricorn, so I'm a universal individual, where you are truly individual. I love individuality. I love individuals. So you actually have the value to be self-made and stand on your own and actually have your own ideas that are influenced or programmed by a collective or society that tells you how to think. You're the disruptor who's going to shape minds individually. So now your individuality has progressed to a point where now you're getting ready to become super. So these are the individuals, these are the gods, but these are the supers. Super strength, super synesthesia, super power, psychological super strength. This is an upgrade into the next stage of our individuality through social integration of it. Hence Leo, Cancer representing around like 9 to 12 years old, where our identity is still formed by our parents, and then the progression in the Leo where we start to go to school and develop an identity outside of the home. Hence, correlating with ages 12 to 22-ish, give or take. But that being said, this is going to be an amazing progression. I'm like 23, 24 degrees progressed Cancer, and I just can't wait to go into Leo because it's going to give us more of a boldness to talk smack and to step into our Gemini boldness. It's everything I imagine Kanye West or Ye is going through. and many other Geminis that have made it through the Cancer waters, which could feel very, deep, not disgusting, but very deep, very dark, feeling the psychic activity and attack, and really being more sensitive to other people's vibrations. It's a bunch that just kind of immediately gets torched in Leo. And then we have a lot more boldness to step forward, to a lot less inhibition, which was subconsciously induced but necessary, especially with us who had to go through, the Saturn, Neptune in Sag going to Cap. So I think you're going to enjoy this Leo progression. But with that being said, you're going to see that that's going to come in. Let me put this back into July. Like by this time, 2026, you're 0 degrees Leo. With the near opposition of Pluto and Aquarius, so you will feel the sense of awakening that's gone over. So yeah, that's a illustrious attainment. Of course, this will extend that Cancer signature that started at Libra, and it's not going to be until we're at Sagittarius that we begin the Leo signature to trine. So that's even beautiful. You start, of course, the Leo signature when you step into Leo. You can't make this up. And then you have the Cancer signature at the end of Cancer. So that's very symbolic. By the time you come into next year, you will begin that soul reawakening process, mind you, based on your natal Pluto. But yeah, I just wanted to give you more of a sneak peek. I would say now, if we move forward to like 2030, by 2030, the moon will be in Capricorn. So that means 2028, it's going to be in Sagittarius. Trining, and then 2028 is going to begin to integrate and tie everything together. Remember, this is all since the previous new moon in Cancer. And then, of course, coming into 2032, we're going to have that full moon in Aquarius. Okay. So that's what you are being prepared for. By then, Mercury will have made it out of Cancer, and Gemini and Venus will have progressed further along, with Jupiter catching up at the end. Of course, as of now, we are getting ready to enact this first quarter square, the 90-degree angle. This is what's going to really take those seeds you planted during the new moon in 2017 and now break them through the ground, giving you social contextual understanding before you progress your awareness on stage into becoming the queen, okay, that you were always born as. And that's where, having Uranus on your rising right now, coming through your first house and getting ready to break through the second, will also kind of compound the nature of the significance of what's happening. But that, in a nutshell, is your progress chart. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, peace.